run a company called People Connect, and you can see our yellow sign over there behind me. We do recruiting for early stage high-tech startups. We just started our 15th year in business. Very proud of the reputation that we've built up. We work with early stage high-tech startups. As I said, we do something very unique. Do something that nobody else does. We find people who will work without a paycheck, people who will work for equity for about 3 months while companies raising money. We fill absolutely every position with the exception of engineer, developer, UI, UX person. I'm also an angel investor, and I run Pitchforce, and I run 2 events for VC Task Force, as well as being a stakeholder here at Runway. You'll hear more about Runway later. I know a lot of people are here for the first time. We're going to have a quick tour of Runway when we have a break. One of the exciting things about being involved at the epicenter of technology from throughout the world is we get to meet people from all over. And I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman who I'm going to introduce in a minute 3 or 4 years ago. And he has he's got an incredible program bringing companies here from the Middle East. As far as I know, it's the first time that companies have come here from the Middle East. 3 of them are with us tonight, and there's another 8 companies or so. So I'd like to introduce Nima and have him talk about Pitney for a minute. Please give Nima a nice welcome.
Thanks, Max. So 4 or 5 years ago when I met Max, I was head of business development at Founder Institute, and we launched about 400 companies while I was there. I'm actually Middle Eastern and German, had never been to the Middle East, and about 5 years ago bought this domain Pitney, which actually stands for Peace in the Middle East. Had no idea what I was going to do with it, and the original idea was kind of a kiva. So last year, my 35th birthday, I had this like mild epiphany after watching Kingdom of Heaven, and I said, you know what, I have to quit my job and I have to fly out there. 9 trips later, 227,000 miles of flying, coach, couch surfing, and bootstrapping this thing. We now have arguably, I think, the largest effort of acceleration of Middle Eastern startups. All these companies, except for 2, have raised money between $250 and $1.5 million. They're what we consider growth stage. So we're bringing them here for the month-long program, 167 mentors. Yesterday was a 13-hour day. And it's focused on product and business development, not funding. So we don't fund, we don't invest. It's kind of Draper University on steroids is what I call it. Anyway, the one company that's not tech is actually social impact. You'll meet Diana. She inspires me. She's awesome. She won the Harvard Arab Weekend where I was a judge, and you know, originally we only were going to take tech, and then when she won, I was like, wait a second, we're social impact. So you'll hear her story. But anyway, so if anybody here wants to meet any of the teams, we've got a bunch of events coming up. Our big demo day, February 13th. Let me know if you'd like an invite or if you want to stop by. We're working out of Connections SF, and the teams are doing literally 12, 14-hour days. Any questions, let me know. Max, as always, thank you very much. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Thanks, Nima. All the companies that are here as part of Pitney, if you'd stand up or raise your hand so we could acknowledge you, welcome. Welcome. Thank you. So this program would not be possible without sponsors and partners, and my partner, it's from the time that we started this program, is a gentleman named Eric Ferraro, who runs an exciting law firm called Fathom Law, and I'd like you to welcome Eric, and Eric is going to tell us a little bit about Fathom Law.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Max. Well, great. Here we go for 2014. I think this is going on our 3rd year with Pitchforce, and it's just been a terrific addition to the startup ecosystem, and I love doing it. So I've been a corporate lawyer for about 20 years. I currently own a exclusive boutique. We focus on the representation of emerging growth companies, venture investors, investment bankers, private equity firms, and other ecosystem partners around the technology industry. We're all the lawyers that work with my firm are senior lawyers who also are entrepreneurs. I'm sort of emblematic of that in that this law firm is my 4th business. I've started 2 technology companies, 2 law firms, sold a technology company to a division of Sony Entertainment in 2012, and I just love being an entrepreneur, and I started this firm so that the senior lawyers could really be able to work with the early stage companies, and we wouldn't be handicapped by the big firm model, which really forces the senior lawyers to only focus on the late stage companies and the large deals, and the early stage companies end up working with young associates. And while it's great training for the associates, the biggest impact that we can make as professionals is when we're working with companies in the early stage. And because we're all entrepreneurs and we just live and breathe tech, we like to do that. And so working in a boutique environment allows us to do that. We approach the process of working with our clients, I think, much more like a VC in that we're quite selective. We really are looking for great teams, great technology, big markets. We like to invest our time in our clients, it's a better partnership if we work closely together. So it's not a volume practice. With that said, we'd love to talk to any of you. We're always happy to give our time, advice. If you want to talk about working with us, please come see me at any time. Come grab a card and I'll tell you more. Thanks.
Thank you, Eric. We work with all the companies prior to the event and help them on their pitches, and a gentleman who makes a big difference for all the companies that were at our training last week is Mark Hampton with the Halo Agency. Mark, come up and say hello, please.
Thanks, Paul. So the Halo Agency, nice to meet you all. In terms of what we do, we work with early stage technology companies, help them do their marketing. I think one of our clients said it best. He said that we gave him access to the capabilities of a full marketing department, but for the cost of a single hire. What we do is we basically provide the top level strategy, marketing strategy, and the execution across all the different pieces of the marketing mix, but we do it in an on-demand, sort of scalable way, which means you don't have to make a bunch of different hires to be able to do stuff. You basically pay for exactly what you need across the different areas, and we help companies work out exactly what they need to do and how best to use their money. So that's it, really. If that sounds at all interesting, and if you've got a startup that maybe needs some help, as Max said, love doing this event, love helping the startups here work out how they can hone their pitches. If you need some help or some advice, it doesn't have to cost money. Just come over and say hello. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. I also want to acknowledge another one of our sponsors, the Keiretsu Forum, the world's largest organization of angels worldwide. I've been a proud member for 13 years. If any of you are interested in attending a Keiretsu Forum meeting, there's 3 of them taking place next week, next Wednesday in San Francisco, Thursday in Lafayette, Friday in Silicon Valley. Just see me and I'll get you an invitation to attend that. We've got a sponsoring venture capitalist, and they're going to introduce themselves and their representative. One of their general partners is here, and founders. But before we do that, I want to have Alan Young talk a little bit about this incredible facility called Runway, which he runs. And then, Alan, if you would also introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your background, please.
Sure. Happy New Year, folks. Welcome to Runway. So happy for all of you to be here. Runway is just one of San Francisco's best kept secrets. We're home to over 70 plus startups. We just finished our first year. 4 companies were acquired out of Runway. We have the most amazing community of entrepreneurs here. It's such a highly collaborative environment. And it's invitation only, so only for the very best startups. Just a really short history about me. I was part of a team that launched a $20 million venture fund when we were undergraduates, and we made 15 investments, and we've participated in 4 companies that have gone IPO. I think there might be 1 or 2 more left that would be IPOs. We've never really had an acquisition, so that's really weird. I've also been a founder of several startups. One was acquired. One was a Weiss startup. I'm an alum of Y Combinator, and that one failed. And then now we're building Runway, and it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
So at this time, I'd like to have Noah Doyle introduce himself. When Eric and I came up with the idea to do Pitchforce, one of the things we thought would be great for the companies is for the winner to be able to pitch to a VC. Getting a meeting with a VC is not an easy thing to do. And Javelin Venture Partners, this is the third or fourth time they've been our sponsoring VC and taking meetings. We appreciate that, and I'm always very, very happy when Noah Doyle is here to be with us, because he adds a great deal. So Noah, if you'd like to talk a little bit about yourself and about your fund, please.
Testing. Thanks, Max. It's just always a pleasure to be here and to participate. Javelin Venture Partners is an early stage fund, seed to Series A. We are a relatively new fund, started just about 5 years ago, and we're already on our third fund, just closed a $125 million fund in October, have about 30 companies in the portfolio, and we're former entrepreneurs. So I started 4 companies, each of my team members have started multiple companies, and we look for companies that can be extremely capital efficient in the early stages, building great products. That means usually software, web, internet related, but are targeting large markets. So when the solution works, it can work in a big way, and the company has a differentiating underlying advantage that really makes it a valuable business over time. We're very engaged in the companies. We usually take a board seat and really invest our time in your success. My last company was a company called Keyhole, which became Google Earth. Went over to Google for several years, working in the mapping geo area, and we took Keyhole at 2 million users when we were acquired. When I left, we had about 600 million users across the different products. So that's the kind of experience we're always looking to replicate. Doesn't always go quite that straight up, but in the sense that we've been there in the early stages when it's difficult and you're not sure if it's going to work, but we're inveterate optimists, and that's always the way we look at every potential investment. Anything else?
Please.
The new fund, yes. The new fund is 125 million. It's again seed to Series A. The average investment ranges about $1.5 to $3.5 million. But we'll do as small an investment as $250,000. So really, it's never too early to meet with us. We're glad to provide feedback, even if you're just thinking about fundraising, and give you guidance or input as to when's the right time to go through the process, how much to raise, and so forth. Every one of my team has been through that process themselves, so we've been on that side of the table, and we can really, we know what it's like to go asking for money, and we can really, I think, be helpful no matter what, even if it may not be a fit at this point in time for us. So definitely, we're totally open model. Just come to the website, send us an email, and we'll be as responsive as we can be. And it's always a pleasure. Thanks, Max, to participate in Pitchforce.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you very much. Last but not least, I'd like to ask my good friend Paul Weiss to introduce himself. Paul's a little meek and shy, so you may have to listen real closely, but you'll catch my drift in a minute.
This is actually the worst part, to introduce yourself after all these guys introduce themselves. I'm wondering if I could just pass. No. I think I partly am invited. I think I'm partly invited to these events because the Shapiro family feels sorry for me, and we didn't mention that Renee Shapiro, the chairman of the board, is in the house. Okay, so in no particular order, I am a member of Kretzer Forum, which Max mentioned, and I am an occasional angel investor. I'm a 6-time entrepreneur, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 3 failures. And if you know anything about the entrepreneurship math, the 2 wins drive much further than the 3 losses dig you into the hole. So that's why I'm here today. I'm primarily a financial services guy. I've done a lot in the consumer product space. I also am a great fan of the process of perfecting the pitch. I have pitched at least 400 times, and I have raised $4 billion of debt and equity for my various businesses. So I like to think I know what I'm doing. If not, I'll have an opinion on it anyway, and I appreciate being invited.